Welcome to Alice in Wonderland. One sunny summer's day, Alice sat by the riverbank, feeling hot, sleepy, and rather bored. Then the strangest thing happened. Out of nowhere, a white rabbit clutching a pocket watch dashed past and disappeared down a rabbit hole. "Hey, Mr. Rabbit," called Alice, feeling perfectly awake again. And with that, she chased after him and found herself falling down, around, and around. Alice landed with a bump and found herself in a room surrounded by doors. She tried every single one, but they were all locked. Then she spotted a table with a tiny key on top, and it fitted the tiniest door. But Alice could only peep through at the beautiful garden on the other side. "How annoying!" she exclaimed. Next, Alice noticed a bottle with the words "Drink me" on it. She took a sip and shrank to a teeny tiny size. But she had left the key on the table, so she couldn't open the tiny door. "Drink me." "How annoying!" exclaimed Alice again. Then Alice spotted a cake with the words "Eat me" written on it. Why not?" she thought, taking a nibble. And with that, she grew and grew and grew so big that her head hit the ceiling and she started to cry. Alice cried so hard that her tears began to flood the room, opening one of the doors. When at last Alice shrank again and she found herself swimming in the sea of her own tears, along with lots of other creatures. The water washed them right out of the house, and Alice swam to the land to get dry. All seemed well until suddenly the white rabbit dashed past again. "Where are the Duchess' gloves?" he called to Alice and ordered her into a nearby cottage to find them. Inside, Alice started to grow again. "Oh no!" she cried in despair as her arms stuck out of the windows. The animals outside were so scared that they threw pebbles at Alice, and the pebbles turned to tiny cakes. "I might as well try one," gulped Alice, through more tears, and with one nibble she started to shrink again. Now Alice was really confused. She ran into the woods where she came across a big blue caterpillar sitting on an enormous mushroom. "Nibble one side of the mushroom to get taller," advised the caterpillar wisely, "and nibble the other side to get smaller." "Yes, why not?" said Alice. She experimented until she felt about the right size again. "What a relief," she sighed. It was then that Alice noticed the Cheshire Cat sitting in a tree. You should visit the March Hare," said the Cheshire Cat helpfully. Then he disappeared, all except for his big grin, which floated in the air. So Alice went to the March Hare's house, where there was a tea party. "I would love to have a cup of tea," said Alice, looking at the other guests. The March Hare, the Mad Hatter, and a very sleepy Dormouse. "Here, time stands still," explained the Mad Hatter. "It is always tea time." The tea party guests talked nonsense, so Alice left to explore and came across a pretty garden. In the middle were 3 gardeners in the shape of playing cards, busy painting white roses red. "The Queen of Hearts hates white roses," they muttered. "Quick, she's coming," they muttered. "Quick, she's coming." And with that, a procession arrived. There were more playing cards, the King and Queen of Hearts, and the White Rabbit. Alice could hardly believe it when the Queen shouted to her, "Here, you, come and play croquet with us." So Alice joined in the strangest game ever. They played using flamingos and hedgehogs, and it was chaos. Suddenly, a voice shouted, "The trial is beginning." Everyone dashed to the courtroom, and Alice was swept in with the crowd. "The Knave of Hearts is accused of stealing the Queen's tarts," announced a bossy man to the jury. "Oh," explained the jury, which was made up entirely of creatures great and small. As the trial continued, Alice became more and more confused and more annoyed. She also started to grow and grow. "Calling Alice," shouted the bossy man. But as Alice tried to walk through the courtroom, she knocked over the jury's box and all the animals in it. "Off with her head," shrieked the Queen of Hearts. Alice had had enough. "You're all just a pack of cards," she yelled, as playing cards flew into the air and drove over her. At that very moment, Alice woke up. She was by the river bank again, with nothing but a few leaves falling gently over her. It had all been a dream, the strangest, most amazing dream ever. Time for tea," thought Alice, smiling to herself.